Adelaide Henry carries an enormous steamer trunk with her wherever she goes. It's locked at all times, because when the trunk opens, people around Adelaide start to disappear. The year is 1915, and Adelaide is in trouble. Her secret sin killed her parents, forcing her to flee California in a hellfire rush and make her way to Montana as a homesteader. Dragging the trunk with her at every stop, she will become one of the lone women taking advantage of the government's offer of free land for those who can tame it. Except that Adelaide isn't alone, and the secret she's tried so desperately to lock away might be the only thing that will help her survive the harsh territory. Now, at the very start of Alone Women by Victor LaValle, it is quite clear, as that description I read from the inner flap of this hardcover states, that whatever has been locked inside of Adelaide Henry's steamer trunk is alive and dangerous. Her parents have been torn to pieces, forcing Adelaide to burn the family home and flee with whatever she can carry and whatever is inside that steamer trunk. Now, being a lifelong addict of any and everything that has to do with monsters and gloomy castles and mad scientists and dark and foreboding landscapes and secrets that have been buried or entombed in an ancient crypt, I was predisposed to immediately start wondering that when the locked steamer trunk would be opened, either by accident or on purpose, what style of entity would be revealed. While it could be something akin to Fluffy, that insatiable and carnivorous beast locked inside the crate in the first Creepshow movie, I actually suspected that what was inside that steamer trunk would not be all that different from Belial, the deformed twin brother of Dwayne Bradley in Frank Henenlotter's cult classic Basket Case. Adelaide's journey to Montana is not all that easy, but it is also not all that dangerous either. She's going east from a homestead in California, after all. But while the frontier has been settled, it is also far from being toiled and tamed. The real dangers and life-threatening challenges Adelaide must face and do battle with as she attempts to settle and build an all-new life in a region where no one knows her, those begin manifesting when she arrives in Montana, in the Montana town of Big Sandy, the city closest to her claim. This is another homestead claim, which means that Adelaide needs to live there for 3 years, during which she is required to make it habitable and cultivate crops. If she succeeds, she gets the land. If she doesn't get the land. A lot of people, and this is true with Montana, especially with the winters, didn't make the full 3 years. They left, just picked up and went someplace else to start over. But for Adelaide, failure is not an option. Neither is discovery, or so she thinks when she first arrives in Big Sandy. While this is Adelaide's first experience living in an area with few people of color, there was a refreshing absence of overt racism in the narrative. Don't get me wrong, there is plenty of racism here, but it is more of a humming undercurrent of white noise, pun kind of intended, than anything that would be found if the story were set in, say, the Jim Crow South. It's more just a hum of discomfort and suspicion. I don't know. As long as Adelaide is good, in that she meets with the community standards in an area starved for people to populate it, she will be accepted, and is. But here's the thing, those community standards are completely arbitrary, and if they are altered or challenged in any way by someone being considered bothersome or troublesome, well, then Adelaide will no longer be one of the good ones living around the outskirts of Big Sandy. Again, this is never really explicitly stated by any character or by LaValle's narration, but it is something that is just known to Adelaide. And well, when that steamer trunk gets opened, that's when those standards begin getting challenged and unsettled and tested. But there is a lot more to the story than Adelaide and the contents of her steamer trunk. There is a traveling family of ruthless, murderous criminals, ghost towns that may or may not have actual ghosts residing within them, a wealthy matron that is oh so supportive of the suffrage movement and the bringing of industry for women to work in Sandy, but she is also the author and enforcer of those community standards. She and her husband are the ones that run Big Sandy, and they are where that humming undercurrent is the loudest and more difficult to ignore or overlook. Make them happy, and, well, everybody is happy. Well, at least the ones that are meeting the community standards they enforce are. Now, this is my kind of book. I thought it was exciting. It was also touching. It is suspenseful. And best of all, it continually surprised and subverted my expectations. I give it 4 out of 5 stars and a hearty recommendation to any and all weird Western fans out there. So there you have it, my entry into the June of the Range month, June of the Range 2026. I didn't really work on an outro, so until next time, happy trails.